So today we're talking about a multimodal approach to ranking in AI. Nice to see you again, Mobes.
Likewise, Linda. Good to be here.
All right, so there's a lot to cover when it comes to AI, and we've started to speak about it on the podcast a little bit. And we'll kind of shed light into the different things that we can do to rank in AI. But today we're going to really be hyper-focused on the fact that a multimodal approach is really helpful when ranking with AI.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that we do know with AI is that it really cares about the number of repetitions of your brand and your brand authority across a number of different sources, which is why we're going to sit on that today. But in terms of kind of ranking in AI, I feel like we've been walking the talk. Talking the walk. And we've been practicing a lot of different things. And Mobes, I think you can share an example of recently where we were ranking in AI quite well and we asked ChatGPT exactly why we were ranking in that. But that might be helpful in kind of laying out the lay of the land here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be very, very practical. So we have spoken about this before, but if you're just joining us for the first time on this topic, it's a great one to be joining us for. So absolutely. So, and we'll shed some light into multimodal as well. That is exactly what it sounds like in different modes, different channels. And it's quite funny, like what I want to sort of preface this with is the fact that, and this is a real bugbear of mine, you don't want to get me started on like this AI or SEO is dead, because there's a lot of people online and even people that, we respect, like pushing stuff that I don't think they know what they're quite talking about. And, like SEO is dead and things have changed. It's actually a little bit of scare tactics. And we love HubSpot, clearly we do, but I'm not shy to talk about things that I disagree with. Might have discussed this before. Yamini, the CEO of HubSpot, I don't agree with her. She went up on stage and she's like, 60% of SEO of search traffic is now like goes to AI overviews. And it's like, but Yamini, like this has been happening for a really long time. 3, 4, 5 years ago, Rand Fishkin from Moz said most of your searches result in 0 clicks. It was the same statistic. They've just replaced it with AI overviews. They had the people also ask and those, snippets and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that works for SEO does work here. But if you think about it, AI and ChatGPT and LLMs have a lot more processing power. Mm-hmm. So whereas Google's value prop is we're just going to give you a very quick result, really quickly.
Yeah.
AI, even if it's like a few seconds, it's still time. So it'll take some extra seconds, especially if you use like, number like ChatGPT 5 or one of the deep research tools or whatever.
Yep.
It's going to take that time. So of course it's going to look at more factors. An example that we wanted to start with is, and depends on what country you're in and where you do this, but I can certainly share a little bit of my screen here with our ChatGPT, is what is a good HubSpot agency to use in Sydney? And what it says is if you're looking for a HubSpot agency, here's some things to look for. And it placed, thankfully, luckily for us, Red Pandas as number 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 6 in total. This is even worse than Google, right? On Google, you have a page, you have like 10 or 20 on page 1. They sometimes experiment. You have ads. This is even less.
Yeah.
This is 6 placements. And people aren't going to look past the first 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But who cares about the 6th one here? You know what I mean? And then it actually goes into this is why Red Pandas is so good in Sydney. And then if you ask it, and this is something I really recommend you do, this is something we've gotten our clients to do, we've done for our clients, go into, literally ask it what factored into sharing, ABC, i.e. Red Pandas, as the top of your list. Mm-hmm. What we've seen is depending on what client we've done, it will give you relatively the same factors, but try your own industry and see what sort of happens.
Yeah. And
I'm just going to read out the factors here. 1 is HubSpot partner status and recognition. Red Pandas is Diamond HubSpot Solutions Partner, one of the highest tiers. Cool, great. The tier is based on a number of factors. Number 2, local Sydney presence. Number 3, the service range. Number 4, client feedback and reviews. And I want to get back to that. That's really important. And then number 5, reputation in the HubSpot community. Mm. And I'll dive into some of these factors further. I actually asked it, which I'll talk about in a minute, is, okay, can you tell me about reputation? Like how, that is so vague.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you mean reputation? Like, give me more. Like, how did you get reputation? But just to kind of go back a tick to the top there. So it looked at status. So any rewards, like it's actually quite funny. I don't know if the PR industry realizes this, but they're sitting on an untapped gold mine right now.
True. Yeah.
Because PR and we know a bunch of PR agencies. And our favorites are our friends at Taurus. High five to Taurus. Shout out to them. We've used them in the past. Amazing group. But like they have struggled a little bit with anything outside of project work. Because, you know, to demonstrate their worth. And I know some PR agencies try to do digital and some digital try to do PR, but they're really their own speciality. But for PR now, like this is a selling factor.
Yeah.
Your reputation, your recognition is going to factor in more even than it did with SEO. That's one thing. The second thing I want to mention on this list is point number 4, and then I'll pause for a moment, is client feedback and reviews.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, we realized it's something we push for our clients all the time. We're like, oh, we don't have like hardly any reviews. We had a lot of reviews on the HubSpot partner directory, but we didn't have any in Google. So we did a bit of a push to drive that. And that factors in. So whether it's Google, but I also think this is really important. It literally says here, public reviews on HubSpot's partner directory and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it will give you that. And I challenge you to probe it. Like each of these factors, you can ask, like, what do you mean by reviews? Like where? How did you factor this in? What sources are you looking at? And that's the stuff you can double down on, especially if you're not coming up number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good point, Mobes. Like what you were saying earlier as well with the fact that like they do take a little bit longer now to process. It's because it's processing across so many different formats. And that's why it's looking at the partner directory. It says other places as well, because it's not just now sourcing directly from Google, though it never did. But the way AI works is it doesn't just source from one format. It's looking at forum threads. It's looking at product reviews. It's looking at, you know, video transcripts from YouTube. So there's so many different platforms it's looking at. And the thing there as well, and why, you know, multimodal is so important and reviews are so important, is because with generative AI, it cares more about what others say about you than what you say about yourself. That's probably the main differentiator, I'd say, between optimizing for SEO and optimizing for AI, because there is so much overlap, like you said, right? All the other things where it comes to ranking for AI, we already knew this for SEO, you know, schema, structuring content in a certain way, so that way, you know, it's scrapable, you know, your website's got crawlability to it, content clusters, like all these things that we've known exist across both, and there's so much overlap. But yes, I think building up your brand's reputation on other formats and websites outside your own is something that is increasingly becoming more important now. I think we were looking recently at like where AI gets its facts from. And so a study that was done by SEMrush in June 2025, the top sources are Reddit, Wikipedia, which is funny and probably why AI still kind of hallucinates half the time, YouTube, and then Google as well. So Reddit's sitting at 40%. And then Google's sitting at 23%.
That I really like that stat. Maybe we'll throw that on the screen as well for the video version of this podcast. When you shared that with me, Linda, like the big thing was like how far ahead Reddit was.
Yeah.
Like Reddit, it was like, okay, what are the factors that impact AI? Reddit at 40%, and the next one was like 22%.
Which makes sense. And I saw a stat recently. I'm going to share it. So it says in 2024, Reddit's presence in search results shot up by about 191%, which makes sense because if you think of the search engine results page, they're actually everywhere. You've now got a forum section that sits directly under maybe AI generated results. AI often links to Reddit as well. So there's so much more visibility, and you can see a clear partnership happening there.
You know, we will actually, I think we'll do an episode on Reddit, right? Marketers ruin freaking everything, man. Marketers ruin everything. Like I was there, I didn't catch it early. Like I probably caught it like just a little bit before the wave, right? And even then, you know, people actually have been complaining about AI generated content in Reddit for a while before I jumped on it for about over a year. But then recently, this is bloody HubSpot, man. Swear to God. After Inbound, they must have spoken about Reddit, do this on Reddit. I jumped in and there is so much trash.
Yeah.
It's so crap. It's like, oh my God. So this is the tip for Reddit, right? You need to treat it just like we spoke about Facebook back in the day and Instagram back in the day. Be social on social. You know, like on LinkedIn, I'm not on LinkedIn talking about how great we are and all the great things we do and like fake or faux conversations like, hey guys, like, you know, the CRM world there's a lot of bad CRM partners out there. What say you? And then like jumping in and talking about ourselves, like be social on social. So the same thing with Reddit. So don't just like have a proper strategy for it. And one of the things that we're working on with our clients, and we can share some insights, is we're working on like and this is the thing we've realized. We actually don't believe that an agency should do it.
Yeah.
We actually believe that Reddit optimization for the purposes of AI optimization and even SEO optimization is it's like social media.
Yeah.
Right now, there are some agencies that you can pay for and do social media management, but most times, nine times out of 10, it doesn't work. Like it's never going to, actually, here's a better way of saying it. 99% of the time, you are always going to get a better outcome on organic social media, not paid, organic social media, if you do it in-house.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Maybe
the
you have
same goes with content.
Right.
The rule has not changed. No, it's just a different medium and a different way of doing things, but the rule remains the same. Even if you're writing your own content, we've always said to our clients, you guys in-house will write the best content on your website because you know your product the best. You know what you deliver the best.
It's more authentic.
That's
it's genuine. Yeah.
And I don't think Reddit really stands, from what I'm understanding, for content that isn't helpful. Like you'll get banned quite quickly.
Yeah. And every community is a little bit different too. So every community has its own sort of rules where they'll jump on it and they'll downvote you. Yes. And you can lose karma.
Yeah.
So the best thing there is, so the tip, and we'll end it, I'll stop talking about Reddit in a second, is like we're working on a plan. And to be honest, you can take this advice yourself already. See if you can spend an hour on Reddit per week, right? Like maybe in 2 different 30-minute slots where you jump in, schedule this time, because it's just another thing we have to worry about as marketers.
Yep.
You follow the threads you're interested in. So we follow the CRM subreddit, the HubSpot subreddit, a couple of others. It's like LinkedIn in a way where it's more about the person. You can do it as brands. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter, but even if you represent your brand, if your name is like Red Pandas Digital, then you still have to operate like a person. Like just like on LinkedIn, you're having like, you know, personal conversations, not like, at Red Pandas, we believe that, like people are like, stuff this shit.
Yeah.
There's already too much AI gunk out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my bit on Reddit for sure.
Yeah. I think with large brands as well, there's probably 2 avenues, because I think you can still do general brand management on Reddit, where you are responding. But I think the point with brand management and talking to the community and sharing updates and things like that about your brand is the fact that you have to actually present as that brand. If you present as a person on behalf of a brand and you're doing brand reputation management, then that's where Reddit kind of, you go against the guidelines there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you try to be authentic, like I'm in the Alex Hormozi subreddit as well. And like, you know, people are trashing him and stuff. And I was like, oh, hey, look, you know, fair enough. But like, honestly, like, I can't remember what I said. It was something like, look, if you think it's worth it, you'll make it worth it.
Yeah.
If you think it's not worth it, then your mind's going to be closed off to it. Like, but if you think it's worth it, you're going to get value out of it. I've already gotten value. Here's an example. And then someone came back and it's like, it's funny to see acquisition.com employees here. Like they thought I was an employee of Alex Hormozi. And I was like, I'm so not. And to be honest, I use that as a natural way to talk about our brand, actually.
Right.
So I would try to, yes, sometimes I've cheated and I'll mention Red Pandas, but if it's a specific thing in the industry, I'll mention the brand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll wait for an opportunity to naturally try to mention the brand, or if someone asks, right? Most of the time they won't ask though. But then when he said that, I'm like, no, I actually run an agency. It's called Red Pandas Digital.
Yeah.
So like that was like another brand mention for us. But yeah.
Which is okay as well, Mobes. And I think that's the other route. It's what you're not doing there is you're not doing brand reputation management or community management. Like you're actually going in and giving really helpful advice and then sneakily using a way for the brand to come up. And that's the way to do it. But I think, you know, what most people will probably do is try and jump the gun and try and put their brand out there straight away, which is not the way to go about Reddit.
It's always been this way, right, Linda? Like it's about value. Just add value first and then look for ways. Like
that's it.
There was someone there who was, I'll give you an example. They're like, oh, look, I have to pay onboarding for this, even though I already have a hub. And I said, hey, look, by the way, if you go through a partner, you don't have to. I didn't know what country they're in. I'm like, if you go through a partner, you don't have to. Honestly, I'm not trying to sell you anything. but let me know. I can give you a link or DM me, and I don't want anything from you. I just want to contribute to this community, and then just get it yourself so you can avoid paying. Because they didn't need onboarding. They'd already paid for it and they were upgrading, but someone was trying to sell them onboarding.
Yeah.
And like, I was a day or two late, and he said, I've already spoken, or he said, I already took care of it. But that's like the idea. I'm like, cool, no worries. And we both gave each other karma, points, and great, right?
Nice.
And my karma went up a little bit, but that's the way to do it.
It's funny, isn't it? Like the principles, they just don't die. Like whether we're talking about Reddit, whether we're talking about posting on your website for your pricing page, whether it's a blog article that you're writing, if your goal is to always be really helpful and add value to the person reading that, then you'll always win.
100%.
There's no way that you can't win.
100%.
And so when people will come to me and they'll say like, how do I get started? What do I do? What do I post? Like just go back to the principles and think about like what value can you add to their life? Because if you can add value to their life in a subreddit, in your blog article, on your pricing page, then they're going to think about you when they're ready to make a decision for whatever it is that you're talking about.
And if they don't, it's a great exposure for you and it helps with AI search.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, any practical tips or advice where people should start in general with AI search?
Yeah, I think about first and foremost, where your audience lives, because I think you can get really swept up in hearing multimodal. You can get swept up in that and think that you need to do it all, but I wouldn't recommend doing it all and trying to cover TikTok and LinkedIn, and like think about where your audience lives and just start there. Like if you're on Google at the moment and you have a really well optimized website and you're posting a lot of content, the next logical step might be YouTube and repurposing your existing content that you're creating with video. So I say pick a platform that makes sense for what you're existingly doing already, and then where your audience lives as well.
Yeah, and repurpose it for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I know it's hard, but this is where AI can help you as well. Like if you're writing a blog post, you always start with something you're really, really good at. You double down on that. You make it work for you. Then you can start, like you say, putting it on other networks. But then AI can be super helpful. Like we could easily take this episode, put it into a number of LLMs, prompt it really well and say, just turn it into a blog post based on this style. Yeah. Turn this into something else. And then it's made for that purpose. It's not just this podcast dropped into a blog post. It's written for purpose, but the source material is us.
That's it.
So, great advice. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, that's good, Mobs. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We've been doing a lot of work in this space and we're creating a lot of ebooks and documents around this stuff as well. So any questions, reach out.
I'd be happy to share for free. Thanks, team. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to InboundBuzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another InboundBuzz hit.